Welcome back, you guys, to Karuna Satori Basic. If you are just tuning into my channel or just coming across it due to the subject matter of this video, welcome to our family. This is not my main channel. My main channel is Karuna Satori ASMR, where we have over 205,000 amazing family members. We are an incredible family who are there for each other, support one another, everything. So definitely consider checking that out. But today's video basically has been the most anticipated, asked for, curiosity type video that you guys have all been wondering about for the past 2 months almost. November 2nd will be my official 2-month anniversary of my breast implants. It is called medically a breast augmentation, augmentation meaning to alter or add to. It's not just completely reconstructing, but well, it could be. Anyway. So, 2 things before we start. I'm so sorry about the audio in this video. My iPhone 6s Plus just took a crap on me this morning. The past couple days it's been making this do-do-do-do-do-do sound, and now today it's making this piercing, extremely loud ear sound. I just can't do it. So I'm using the Yeti mic. The Yeti mic's broken as well. When I connect the USB to my phone, I can't hear what I'm doing, but whenever I go to replay it, you can hear that it's working. So I'm just kind of winging it right now with the audio. I'm sorry if it sounds like crap. I'm going to edit this video a lot because, first off, trigger warning, I will be talking about blood, I will be talking about gore and flesh, and I will be talking about, or showing you photos of all of this. So, nipples covered, of course. This is an educational video. It doesn't really matter either way. I'm going to get the story out there. So, I will put right here the timestamp of my breast augmentation story itself, but the first thing we're going to talk about, this is for those who are just coming in to tune in, because right before I got my breast augmentation, I probably watched over like 20 videos of women and their stories, and I couldn't stand when they were talking about things not related. So the timestamp is right here again, and go ahead and fast forward. That'll start the story, and then I'll talk about the risks, everything like that. But first, the main question you guys wanted to know is, number 1, it's like a 30-part question. Why did you go and get breast implants? That was the main question. And then the sub-questions are because, number 1, you're known for your talking of body positivity. Second was, how could you afford this? And the third is the main question. Why did you end up doing it? Whether or not, you know. So the first question was, how could you, the first question again was, when you talk about body positivity, I don't think one time I have ever said, and if I did, I apologize, because opinions change, and they do. I'm not justifying it. I believe in accepting yourself 100% whole as who you are. We're bags of flesh, you guys. Like, that's all we are. I'm not the type of person, I believe, forgive my ignorance, if it's the Jewish community who believes we come into the world whole, we go out of the world whole. For example, certain Jews, I don't know if that's wrong to say, I don't know, forgive me, when they have surgery, because of their religion, they are allowed to keep their body parts, and then they will be buried with that. They believe that their body should be whole, always put. When their teeth are extracted, they always keep it. They're put in the ground back the way that they came into the world. It's amazing. It's an incredible type of belief, but I'm not the type of person who believes in that. I believe to alter your body whatever you want. I have hundreds of thousands of tattoos that are garbage. I am not proud of them, but they are what makes me. And now I have 2 implants in my tits that make me the way they are. We just need to accept ourselves the way that we are. If we want to alter ourselves, feel free. There are men being born in women's bodies who don't feel that way. There are women being born in men's bodies who don't feel that they were born in the right body. Alter all you want. Just know your boundaries. You know what I mean? I am learning, I'm 26 years old, and it's taking me up until now that it really doesn't matter. If it's not positive, it's not for you. When people talk negatively to me, I, at this point, say to myself, is it positive? Is it benefiting you? Is it going to help you? Is it kind? If it's not, it is not for you. It doesn't exist. Drop it out of you. Don't even put it out in the universe. So that is my answer to the first question. The second question you guys were curious about is, how did I afford a boob job that is it raining? Yeah, I love when it rains. That is like $4,800. I did not pay for my boob job. I did put down for the consultation, which was $80, and I did pay some after that, I will be honest, but I did not pay for ultimately the entire breast implant job. A friend of mine who I grew up with, my first boyfriend at 14 years old, it was his best friend, followed me, watched me. We were friends for a while. Long story short, fast forward, knew that I talked extreme bad self-esteem against myself. I'm the type of person who's like, you're beautiful, you're amazing, because I can look at a person, I could be in a room with a 30,000-pound person, naked, smells, all of that nasty stuff you think of it, and I would be comfortable just sitting there and talking to them. I would not be judging because I can accept people for who they are with their looks and things like that, and I never used to be that way. I really haven't, trust me. I have my past, but now, sit me in a room with a bunch of naked people, I'm fine, but when I'm naked, it's horrible. This person knew me very well and basically gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. He's a very well-known, I'm not going to say politician, but he works with money. He has money. He's a good friend, and he helped me out. He said, how about you show yourself a little bit more and talk more positively because your ASMR is amazing, in his opinion, he said. And then he was like, but I can't stand when you talk bad about yourself. Couldn't stand in the beginning of the videos when I'd be like, okay, my lipstick is crap. I have to put it back on. And he said, I really don't care. Go get yourself a boob job. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Then I was asked, why could I not wait to get it? I don't know. I jumped right on that. Trust me, I was on that. I was like, yes, I will. We talk to this day, almost every day actually. People are trying to figure out who he is, and I think it's hilarious. You're not going to find him. But that is how the augmentation was paid for. What happened is he booked the consult. I didn't really choose the doctor. He knew who the doctor was. We all kind of are from the same town, same area. He lives elsewhere, but the doctor that he knew lives about 45 minutes from me, and I'm actually going to show you who that is at probably mid-video, whatever. So I didn't pay for my tits, somebody else did, and I'm very grateful for that to this day. And the third question was, what was it? Oh, I forgot, but I do know that I'm going to explain this. I made personalized videos right before I got my breast augmentation, and that is what confused a lot of people. I am here to break down everything, and Petty Paige did a really good job of breaking that down. She's a drama channel, and I always used to say, what if I ever end up on a drama channel for shit? And I did. I have a terrible past. I'm very admitted to that. I am not the person I used to be. This has nothing to do with that, but that was my question, and then I ended up on there because of this situation, which is completely understandable. I'll make it very simple for you guys. My teeth needed fixed, and my upper teeth are already fixed. My lower teeth are already paid for. We're just waiting for the partial to come in. I had a tooth right here that needed a root canal. Unfortunately, my roots are very small. I will actually show you the x-ray right here. And if you could see, I circled the infection, and I also added a new line that was how small my roots are. So the root canal couldn't be reached to fill it. You have to dig a hole and then fill it up and like calcify it or some, I don't know. That is what needed done because there was an abscess all the way up here that is now gone, thankfully. But what ended up happening is they extracted the tooth and put in a bridge. The bridge was $1,200. And then on my lower teeth, I need to get these 4 babies out because if you could see in the x-ray, there was a giant infection basically from here all the way down to here. It is messing up my lymph nodes, messing up my sinuses. Well, why did you go and get a boob job right after you were talking about getting your teeth fixed? Number one, I offered personalized videos in exchange to put down for my teeth. My insurance did not pay for any dental in regards to that because a bridge is not covered by dental insurance where I'm from, and my insurance definitely has no part in covering that. A partial is a different story, but I did not want to get the partial that wraps around and has a large retainer. I wanted to get a good partial that just goes and sticks right down. So I said I'm going to offer personalized videos in exchange to pay for that. So I did that and put down, teeth are paid for, whatever. The thing that I did mess up on is I did go and get a boob job instead of putting my health first. I jumped on the opportunity. I said, screw it, whatever. I jumped real quick on the situation. I was like, I need to get this done. This is awesome. I can't wait, whatever. But the reason for that, why didn't I get my teeth fixed right after having the breast augmentation surgery, is because you have to wait at least 4 weeks before you can just casually go and get any type of work done, because after you get a foreign implant in your body, it is something called prophylactic treatment. And for the rest of my natural born life, whether I'm getting a tattoo, whether I'm getting dental work, in the beginning, I have to take 600 milligrams of antibiotic. I'm allergic to amoxicillin, so they have me on clindamycin whenever I go and get that stuff done. And then, yeah, so that is the answer to all your questions. The mistake I made was putting something that was cosmetic before my actual health. Has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with anything. I see a lot of people talking about me, quote unquote, scamming, begging for money. I never asked for any type of donation regarding my teeth. The only thing that I asked for is if anybody wanted a personalized video, I would happily make it. Why will my hair not go up in a bun? So I hope that cleared some things up for you guys. Again, I admit I should have put my teeth first before I just went and casually got a boob job. I probably could have waited, but I didn't. So whatever, here we are, and let's get into the story at exactly 12 minutes and 5 seconds. So I'm gonna start off with the consultation. So these babies right here are 325 to 450 cc periolar dual plane saline implants. They are under the muscle and above the, or they are half unders, half overs. So what happens is I'll actually show you I'll show you right here. And basically the implant goes outside of the muscle, and then there's a slit in the muscle and half of it goes up in. That is why they're so full up here, and they're a little bit full underneath. Excuse me, forgive me, I have a black bra on today. Whatever. So when the consult was booked, I was really nervous. I didn't know anything about my own boobs. I was like, whatever, let's just go get these done. I'm a very impulsive person. When I want something, I need it. Like, I need it to be done immediately. Unfortunately, though, I did have to wait a week for the consult. And whenever I went, they were extremely incredible. I'm actually going to show you now who I went to. His name is Dr. Robert Luton. He's from Blair Plastic Surgery. I completely recommend him to anybody who wants any type of cosmetic surgery done. Him and his wife, Dr. Fanny Luton. I always laugh at her name. It's cute, but they're incredible. I'm in love with the doctor, Dr. Luton. He's just incredibly attractive, but I think everybody is like that with doctors. I have this weird thing. But anyway, so I booked the consult. When I went in for the consult, I brought my mother. Here's the photo of me being all really excited. I'm literally and then I took a picture also of the implants and how much that they went for. The lowest cost of implants were the saline implants, which were I think $4,800. And then there were the silicone implants. I did not want silicone. I am petrified of silicone because of the risks of the implants, which are basically I'm scratching a giant bug bite on my ankle. I didn't know mosquitoes were out at this. I don't know what it is, spider or whatever. Anyway, there are two little dots right next to each other, so I'm wondering. So when I went to the consult, he explained basically, he talked way too quick. I was like, okay, I have no idea what's going on, whatever. So he drew on the little board what exactly would be going on. He explained the procedure a little bit. He explained that I would have drains, which I will talk about in a moment, which I did, and I ended up contracting a hematoma after, which only happens to I think 4% women, but the drains should literally reduce that risk to 1%. It's extremely rare to happen, and unfortunately I got it. So anyway, they let me try on boobs. Basically, they give you this like big thick bra, and then they'll give you the implants, and then you stick them in your bra. Now, little did I know that my breasts were considered tuberous breasts. Tuberous breasts are a deformity in young women like myself, where the tissue's very hard, it's very thick, it makes your boobs basically cones. It makes you sag quicker. It can happen from having kids, but ultimately you have it, I think, when you're born. You know what I mean? Like, you grow into that. So the nurse was incredibly sweet. She explained all about my procedure. So then pre-op came. The consult initially is $80, but I heard if you go to this website, I think it's like, oh, shoot. I was going to swear. I'll link it down below if you guys want to go, if you're ever into getting an augmentation and you're in the area. If you mentioned his little post on the website, the consult is free. That saves you $80. So I suggest doing it. So pre-op came. I really don't remember much about pre-op. I was like so freaking out. I brought Victor with me, and that's where they actually gave me this right here. They told me to wear a sweatsuit on the day of surgery, bring a sports bra, preferably large, extra large. I started off as a 32 deflated C, and when I say deflated, it's an actual term because my tits, or my boobs were deflated. Basically, they sagged, and here is my before photo, and here is my after photo. Although you can't see much, you can tell that they're a lot more full, altogether great. So anyway, pre-op, he gave me this. He told me to look over it, study it, everything. Basically, what's in here is all the information you need to know. Healing, like for example, table of contents. Preparing for surgery, day before surgery, morning of, going to our operating room, anesthesia risks, general risks, potential complications, specific surgical risks, health factors, post-operative care, special op instruction, healing, financial policy and cosmetic waivers, consents, acknowledgement, miscellaneous, and prescriptions. So, my story exactly is the doctor agreed not to give me any pain pills in the beginning because I am a recovering addict of 8 years, and he did not want to contribute to any type of relapse I may suffer from. Even though I am on methadone maintenance, I was like, I'm fine. I'm not going to relapse, whatever. We both agreed to it. It was fine. So I'm just going to go into the day of surgery for myself, and then afterwards we'll talk about a little bit of risks you can experience from breast aug and everything like that. So the day of my surgery, I came in, my mother watched the kids, or I'm sorry, my neighbor watched the kids, and it was me, my mother, and Victor. I drove out. I remember I had my last cigarette at that time. I am unfortunately smoking again. We drove out. I actually vlogged everything. In fact, I am going to add the vlog at the end of this video. I never got past surgery, so it was all before the vlog. I'll show you. It was my last time with boobs. That morning I went to Walmart. I went shopping for a ton of stuff that I didn't need. I bought a ton of stuff. You don't need that much after surgery. You're not even going to want that much after surgery, just trust me. Me going without pain pills probably was the worst decision of my life, and it was, and we'll explain what happened and why. So anyway, the day of surgery, and this goes for Dr. Luton as well. I know Dr. Luton's staff may be watching this. I spoke about this before. I'm sorry, Dr. Luton, but there are some bad things I have to say about the experience. I go in, and it was fine. The inside of his office is absolutely incredible. It's like walking into royalty. The chairs are all handcrafted. The couch is velvet. Beautiful like stone walls, everything like that. And there's this little window in the corner of the room, little window that shows all the people in surgery and how they're doing. Cute little messages like, Sarah's doing excellent, smiley face, or doing good, heart. It's real cute. The staff there is so sweet. They're not the type of people that you go in there and you're just like, hi, I have an appointment, so like go sit down. It's like, how are you today? Like they're actually truly, they seem like they care. There are some women in there I didn't really like, and I'll explain. So again, we sat out there for about 2 hours. My surgery initially was at, I think it was 11:30 in the morning. We didn't get back there until 2:30. it was bad. The wait list, he was running way behind, and we made friends with a guy who was waiting on his wife in the waiting room. He drove all the way from Texas just for his wife to get stuff done, because that's how good Dr. Luton is, apparently. He did great on me, so I'm happy. At first, I didn't believe it. I'll explain that in a bit. So whenever I finally got called back, immediately I was like, are we going for surgery now? She's like, yeah, say goodbye, leave your other personal belongings, but bring back, your bra and stuff like that. I gave Victor a hug. I was so scared I wasn't going to wake up from surgery. I was like, I'm going to die. I'm like doing muscles, you'll notice. I always do it like it's a natural thing. Now it's weird. They give you propofol, which is an anesthetic. They use it. It's like a twilight sleep kind of anesthesia. I personally like it. Whatever. So I'll get to the reason I even said that. So I go back, and immediately I'm taken back into a locker room, kind of like changing room. I did not like the woman who brought me back there. Completely disrespectful. Basically a bitch. She took me back. She's like, here, throws a gown at me. She's like, put this on. I was like, okay, where do I put this? She's like, put it in the locker. I was like, well, I tried to explain that my glasses, like, if I wake up and I'm confused and it's after surgery and I don't have my glasses, I will freak out. I'm not the type of person who takes anesthesia poorly. I didn't have to. They give you, on the day of your surgery, you are to take an antibiotic, 600 milligrams of an antibiotic, usually penicillin or amoxicillin. For me, it was clindamycin, and that is to start your immediate treatment during getting your breast augmentation surgery. Your breast is like ripped open, literally. If you guys want to see what it looks like, just look it up. It's horrible. I wish I would have never looked it up beforehand. Ugh. But they use kennel funnels where I went to. Kennel funnels is basically a funnel they place right at your nipple. My incisions are right here under the nipple. They slip a teeny little slit of the funnel there, and then they place the implant, and they squeeze the implant with a little bit of whatever it's going to be, whether it be silicone or saline. And then they squeeze it in. It pops right in there. Then he uses his fingers to, situate it and everything like that. If it's under the muscle, I'm not exactly sure what he does. I only seen over the muscle surgeries. So in the locker room, I waited for I just sat there. She's like, let me know when you're done by knocking on the door. She shut me, and she's like, knock on the door when you're done. So they give you a hairnet, put the hairnet on, you're in your thing. They didn't give me these, which is what you're going to have to wear no matter what, before or after surgery. And the reason that I am showing you these are called, I forget what they're called, but they're to make sure you don't get a blood clot, basically. And you put them on, they have openings at the bottom. They're really dirty. The reason I kept these is I'll explain later on, but you pull them all the way up to like your, basically right below the knee, and then there's openings at the bottom so your toes barely stick out, and it's to keep you from getting blood clots because you're going to be sitting down, laying down a lot after surgery. So she didn't put those on me yet. I'm just in my gown. I had my phone and my glasses. She took the phone off me, puts it in the locker. She's like, I told you. I was like, you're not listening to me. They pull me out and put me in a room, it has a giant projector screen. My heart was racing off the hook. I'm getting anxiety even talking about this. I don't know what it was about anxiety, but my heart was racing. And this is the part where I really started getting frustrated. Not only was I left in the locker room for 10 minutes, but when they took me back to this room, they didn't even get my IV started. That was like the number one thing. Dr. Luton was like pissed. He was like, why is this going so slow? The doctor came in. He's like, well, first off, when I went in there, they came back, took my blood pressure. She was like, why is your heart rate so fast? I'm like, she was just rude. I did not like her. And then another nurse came in. She's like, I'm going to start your IV. And I was like, please, please, please wait until we can find a vein. My veins are so tiny. That is another reason why whenever I was a drug user, I never shot up. I don't have veins. Like I just itched real bad. But right here, in order to get a vein started, you like pump, and I guess your veins will like come to the surface for some reason. There's a teeny little one right here. In fact, you can kind of see it. You see that line right there? That's the vein. I was like, can you just put it there? She's like, no. She's like, we need something thick. So she found one that was right here, and she dug around in my arm to the point I was bawling. I think she blew the vein. I'm pretty sure that's why, because what happened was after digging around for so long, she's like, I can't get it. And she just pulled it out. She tried 3 different times in that area. I was crying, and then I looked down and my whole wrist was swollen up like a balloon. I'm not even kidding you. Just on the side, it was swollen. Like I can't even explain. Like half my wrist or half my fist was how big it was. I was crying. I was like, why is this happening? I was cold. The room was cold. And I understand that because of the operating room and stuff like that. They didn't offer me the warm blanket they're supposed to before surgery. And that's basically to help anxiety. Yeah, I didn't wear the patch that was to keep you from throwing up from the anesthesia. I know my body and how it reacts to propofol. I was on propofol with my colonoscopy, with getting my tubes tied. I was on it before for prior surgeries, things like that. And she's like, you should have wore your patch. It helps with anxiety. I didn't know that personally. I thought it was only to keep you from throwing up. And I was like, I'm still scared. Like, can you please just calm me down and be nice? And she was just pissed. She ended up leaving because she couldn't get a vein. Then the actual anesthesiologist came in, and she was really sweet. She had all these forms for me to fill out because of the anesthesia, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then Dr. Luton came in while I was filling out the forms. He's like, while I was reading and filling them out, she was putting in the IV. She did put it right here. She found the vein, put it in. She was really nice. But then Dr. Luton came in. He's like, why is she signing papers when the IV is in her arm? And they were like, what are you talking about? He's like, you never, ever, ever want, the IV to go in before she signs the papers, because if something could go wrong, that would be on them. And they were just rushing. I understand. I don't think it was something that was messed up. I think they did an incredible job overall. They were very professional. It's just when I talk about how I'm in pain, I really wish they would have listened to me in that aspect. So anyway, everything got situated. There was like 3 people in the room. Dr. Luton came in. He's like, how are you doing? He was a little bit irritated because of the nurses and how long they were taking. And he's like, I was like, am I going to die and everything? He was really, really funny and really sweet. I'm in love with him. But anyway, so we leave the room, and this is the end. This is the part where I was just fucking like done. I was done. I was standing up, and the anesthesiologist came running over with a needle, which had the stuff in, put it in my IV, and she's like, I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm shooting you up with the propofol. I'm like, while I'm standing up, and I still had a ways to make it to the operating table. She's like, just trust me. She's like, I don't want you to see the operating room. She's like, your heart rate's high. You have anxiety. I understand now why she did it, but I don't think that was very professional of her to do. Fast forward, I'm laying on the table. They strap you down. The operating rooms are all so bright. Like, I don't know any operating room that you walk into, if you even remember, because you're out probably before you get there, that it's dark. They're like, that's the kind of shit you see on TV. And I was like, yeah, probably. So I'm laying there, like, back. They lay you flat back. The operating room table was really small, actually. They tie you down. I remember them tying me down. And they were just really nice. They were talking really sweet to me. They were like, how are you feeling? They're like, this is going to be the best sleep of your life. I was like, ugh. So that was it. I don't remember really closing my eyes. I just kind of opened them up, and it was kind of like in and out. I woke up, I think, while they were like ending it, if that makes any sense. Because I remember them like leaning me up and then putting me back down for some reason. Then later to find out they lean you up to make sure the boobs look good. But I think that I did wake up during surgery, and they just put me back to sleep with more propofol. Towards the end, they actually injected me with fentanyl as well. Fentanyl, I believe, is now being taken off the market because of Trump, which is kind of a good thing. Fentanyl is literally basically synthetic heroin. It's like the highest form of the heroin or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I'm so sorry, guys, because I'm trying to get into everything and get it done and talked about. I woke up again the second time, and I don't really remember what happened other than the nurse being like, Sarah, are you okay? And she was offering me crackers and she gave me my glasses. Actually, I woke up with the glasses on. I really respect that. That was really nice of them. They did listen to my concerns after, you know, begging them for like 2 minutes. I was like, can I have my phone? And immediately I like took a picture. I remember I was in pain. I could feel the weight on my chest immediately. Everybody says it's like an elephant sitting on your chest. I didn't feel that way. I really just felt like there was weight pulling down on me. And the sports bra that I got, thank you, dear heavenly God, that I will show you guys the sports bra right now. If you guys are planning on getting a breast augmentation, this is the bra that you want after surgery unless directed otherwise. It's $12 at Walmart, and all the girls who have ever gotten breast augmentation say that that's literally the best choice. But if you're getting drains, which is what I unfortunately had to get, and basically what a drain is, they place them. I will show you guys the scar actually, if you guys can see it. Where would it be? Can you see it? Is it up higher? There it is. You see that? Right here. That is where the drain came out. Literally, they go, how they like filter through, I'm not exactly sure, but the drains basically go under the breast right here, and there's like a strip that has little holes in it, and all the extra fluid seeps out of there and goes out from the holes down into the drains. I had 2 drains. Some women who are getting complete reconstructive breast surgery have 7 drains. I know, right? That's crazy. So I woke up and I remember looking down and I could only see my boobs. They were like out to here. They were crazy. Here is what they looked like directly after. That was directly after surgery. I remember them putting me in the wheelchair, and Dr. Luton was there, and we talked about fluffing. For some reason, I said something about them looking fluffy or something, and he's like, I've only ever heard that once before, and that was important. I'm in love with him. So anyway, Dr. Luton, if you're reading this, please marry me. No, but so we go out, and I just remember kind of being put in the car. There were 2 nurses. They helped get me in the car. It was my mom's Jeep. And Mom, if you're watching this, I love you so much. I even told her driving is so rough. Like, she's always braking, and I'm like, Mother, stop. But I was in so much pain. Like, they only had me on the fentanyl, and I was coming off of that already from surgery. I remember going home, excruciating pain. I was only allowed to take Tylenol, not ibuprofen, because Tylenol is still a blood thinner or something, but it doesn't do what ibuprofen does, which is thins the blood and then makes more fluid come out. So here's where the complications immediately started. They immediately started after surgery. For some reason, my shoulder was so much more painful on this side than this side. Whenever I first came out of surgery, the pain that you're going to experience is on the chest. You can't breathe. They give you one of those things to blow into, but you know, sometimes you blow into them, but this one you're supposed to breathe in. You're like, and that's to make sure you can breathe. If you don't learn to breathe after the surgery, you basically forget. I'm not even kidding you. Like when you get people with open heart surgery have to do it, you forget to breathe. Breast augmentation is considered a major surgery. There's a lot of things you have to understand, especially with those socks, compression socks, that's what they're called. Although they're tight, you have to wear them. You don't want a blood clot. It will kill you. That's exactly what happened to me. And of course it had to happen right after. Anyway, so one of the risks, let's talk about the risks really quick with breast augmentation, then I'll explain the main risk that I got. I'm very lucky right now. I'm almost 2 months post-op. The breasts are still hard, but I'm not getting capsular contracture. Now, the 2 main risks of getting a breast augmentation are a hematoma or capsular contracture. Now, capsular contracture only happens, it can start around 2 weeks after surgery, but doesn't really happen until like up to 3 months after surgery, if it does. And that's because scar tissue basically forms around the implant and then deforms the implant completely. So you want to look into, if you're ever getting a breast augmentation, capsular contracture. Then I have it all written down here with a ripped note. A hematoma. Now, capsular contracture only happens to 4% of women. It's a very rare thing to happen, but it definitely does happen. With my implants are covered. I have a lifetime warranty, which is basically a one-time warranty. If for some reason my breasts do ever contract capsular contracture, the implants are paid for. I would only have to pay for the anesthesia itself, which is still an expensive surgery. But, you know, that's great. I wouldn't have to pay no $5,000. It would only be like $1 or $2. So anyway, and then the hematoma. Now, a hematoma happens up to before or at 12 hours after surgery. That's like the most common time it happened. It can happen after, but it's very rare. But that's what the drains are for. It takes the percentage from 4% as well, just like capsular, all the way down to 1% when you get drains. And of course, I got it. So we go home, and I remember I fell asleep for 2 hours, and that was it. I didn't sleep for 4 days after that. This is the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life. I've pushed one child out naturally, and I've pushed one child out with an epidural. I thought contractions. I thought that ripping of your hole would be painful. Having a hematoma was the most painful experience I've ever had in my whole life. It's a pain I will never forget. I don't wish it on anybody, not even my worst enemy. I understand, and I do want to point out that I am very, very aware that this was all self-wanted. I'm not talking about me feeling bad for me or anything like that. I did this to my body, so I suffered the consequences and the complications that came from it, and that was a hematoma. I go home. I slept for 2 hours. I remember waking up. The kids were there. I don't really remember much other than them like coming in and out, and you know, they'd sit with me on the bed for a little bit. And it wasn't the anesthesia that was putting me in and out. It was the severe excruciating pain. I was taking Tylenol. I was only allowed to take 4,000 milligrams a day. I was already up to 3,000 like 6 hours after surgery. So I got home around 5:30 p.m. The pain just started getting worse. I could not get comfortable. I was petrified. I called Dr. Luton's office. I believe that night it was like 16 times. I'm not kidding. What I'm very grateful for with Dr. Luton's office is he's on call constantly. If something's wrong, you call the on-call person and they directly have him call you. There was never a time I could not get a hold of him except for one time, and that's because it was something so small. It was later on. I'm so grateful, Dr. Luton, if you ever watch this, number one. Number two, thank you so much for answering my phone calls. The pain just started getting worse throughout the night. I believe it was 10 p.m. And the second thing that we noticed was when you get your drains, you're only supposed to drain 350 cc's of blood and fluid. In the first, I think it's like 12 hours, the 350 cc's of blood is all together. I think it's in the first 24 hours or something. That's the most you're supposed to drain. My breast drained 460 cc's of blood in 6 hours. This is what they looked like immediately right before my surgery. Yeah, that is not normal. That is extremely dangerous. I was losing a lot of blood. Excuse me. We called Dr. Luton and we told him that, well, he didn't hear about that first. We just said that there is more blood draining on the right side than the left side, and that it was swollen more on the right side than the left side. And he was like, it's fine, whatever. He's like, I know you're in pain. That's because I didn't give you the pain pills or muscle relaxers. He would have prescribed me Percocet and Valium, which he did end up doing later on because he had to at this point. Fast forward through the night, most excruciating night of my life. I had a beanbag chair sitting in front of me on my bed, and the only time I could like semi get comfortable is if my arms were just down and I had my head leaning forward. You're not supposed to lean forward at all. You're not supposed to lay down at all. You are basically supposed to be leaned up, like sitting like I am now directly after surgery for the first 3 days. I was leaning forward. It was the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life, basically, and it just got worse. So Victor was like, you're fine. We're not going to the hospital. He knows how my anxiety is, but I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong. So I was looking forward to 5 a.m. because 5 a.m. is when the clinic opened, and I was like, if I can't take pain pills, I need to go get my methadone. Like, I know it'll make me feel better. And it did. If I could ever thank methadone for one thing in life, it would be dosing that morning of my life, because that was, like I said, very bad. So at 4:45 a.m. the next morning, our neighbors came down because I couldn't drive, so Vic had to drive me to the clinic. So my neighbors woke up and came down. So thank you so much, Emily and Shane. They watched the kids for like 2 days, just while we went to the store, went to the clinic in the morning. That was it. I didn't know that this was going to happen to me. I didn't know what a hematoma was, really. I knew of it, but I didn't know that's what was happening. So right at like 4:30 a.m., we wake up. I'm getting ready to get up to the clinic. I had Victor dress me, and he looks down and he's like, oh my God. He's like, we need to call the surgeon right now. He's like, you need to look at yourself. And I didn't even realize I was in so much pain. I was like, get me to the fucking clinic. I looked down, and from here all the way up to here, my chest was swollen. And here's what it looked like. It might not look big in the photo, but if I would turn to the side, the thing was swollen like it was huge. It was like 2 more implants placed on top of an implant. And I could not lift my right arm. There was no lifting. There was barely moving of the fingers. The pain shot down up into my fingers. It shot down to my ribs. I couldn't really feel the drains in me. And the drain was just constantly filling up with blood. Like, he had to change it literally every like 15 minutes. That's how fast or how much blood I was losing. And we started noticing there truly was a real problem. First off, we called the surgeon at 4:30. Victor actually got on the phone and he was like, Dr. Luton, we need you to take Sarah in, like something's not right. And he's like, what's wrong? Vic said that my right side was swollen. He said that I'm losing a lot of blood. Vic didn't measure all of it. He was measuring it, but he never added up how much. And Dr. Luton was like, well, how much is there? He's like, all right, come in at 8 a.m. and we will get you in first. He's like, you're fine. You'll be okay. He's like, I know you're in pain. He's like, go get your dose and then go home and try to get some rest because you haven't slept since surgery. He's like, you're probably delirious, things like that, whatever. The anesthesia. And Vic's like, all right. So he hangs up the phone and he adds up all the numbers before we leave, and it came out to like 460 plus the blood that was starting. Then he called Dr. Luton back and said 460 cc's, and Dr. Luton was like, what? And he's like, yeah, 460 cc's. And he's like, since surgery? And he's like, yeah. He's like, is that on both? And he's like, no, that's just the right side. The other side was literally like, what was it? I think it was like 30 or something. It was real good. Like, the left healed amazing, and it's still healing amazing. One thing is breasts don't heal at the same time. They're 2 separate surgeries you're getting. They're separate things. So one's going to heal faster, or maybe, it depends on your body. We call back Dr. Luton, and whenever he found out that, he's like, I need you to come in right now. He's like, he's like, where are you? He's like, go get your dose or whatever. He's like, but you need to come in right now. So we go up to the clinic. I had to have Victor take me in. He had to walk me in, basically carry me out. We had to skip line with everybody. Everybody was really supportive. They were opening doors for me. I don't really remember a lot of it other than just being in so much pain. I remember right after that, we didn't even stop to get my Dunkin' coffee. So I didn't even want to eat. I don't think I ate anything throughout that whole night. I just wasn't in the mood. It was so painful. We drive all the way out to Altoona. From where I live out to Altoona, it's about 45 minutes. The moment we got in, well, after he took a look at me, the moment we got in the building, he was the only one there. He let us in. He's like, let me see them. I took the bra off or whatever. He's like, you're going. He's like, he immediately called Altoona Hospital, immediately scheduled me to get into surgery. He was on the phone. He was like real concerned. He's like, she needs in here now. He's like, this isn't something that can wait. So they immediately got surgery scheduled for me. We drove over to the hospital. But what I was going to say is, whenever I opened the bra for him to check everything, first off, my nipple was already bleeding out. My incision was opening up. There was so much blood. It was literally like dramatic. And then the drains were leaking as well. So the entire underside of my bra was covered in blood. If you've seen that picture of the hematoma before, when I showed you, there was that little thing. The whole thing was soaked. So we get over to the Altoona Hospital. I don't really remember much at this point. The pain was just getting so much worse. My breathing was very labored. It really wasn't that as dramatic. My mom didn't know anything. Nobody knew anything until Victor called my mom. My mom was real worried. She couldn't just leave because she ended up going down with the kids and stuff like that. Like, the kids didn't know. Nobody knew. what happened was whenever we went in, you have to register and everything like that. They asked me to sign. I couldn't sign. I was in so much pain, but somebody came flying down and they were already waiting for me at the bottom. They're like, okay, we're going right up. They're like, there is no waiting. He'll register you. So Victor signed my rights or whatever over to, you know, acceptance. We get upstairs. Everybody's already ready. They took a look at it. They're like, she needs to go under right now. Like, it's, you know, I'm in there like, I'm literally just like, is the pain gonna go? Like, for, you know, what's really interesting is when you're in like a really, and even though it was, you know, it doesn't seem like a life-threatening situation. If you look up what a hematoma is, it's a blood clot. And it was getting bigger, and it's close to the heart. It's right in front of the chest. There's the chest bone blocking the hematoma. And that being so close to the veins and stuff, if it would have went to my heart, I would have died. So, I mean, it's not, that's a very uncommon thing to happen. They really wanted to get that drained immediately. Whenever we got up there, they were ready. They were like, the only thing that they had to have me do is put the gown on. So they had 2 nurses come with me in the bathroom. And whenever I took off I forget, I was wearing like a hoodie or something. The blood was like a little bit on the hoodie. When I opened up, the whole bra was just getting more and more soaked. And the nurses were like, yeah. They didn't know what to do. So they just left me keep the bra on. And then they put the gown on me. And I'm like, well, how are you going to get the bra off? And they're like, just don't worry about it. They took me in. They already had the IV ready. They just put it back in where I had it. Immediately put me with propofol. I remember Dr. Luton coming in and sitting with me. And then Victor finally came up and sit with me. And you know what's weird is they already gave me the propofol, but I didn't fall asleep right away for some reason. I don't know if that's already because I had it the day before or like 6 hours before or whatever. I don't know. And he sat with me, Dr. Luton. That's just why I'm like... it's one of those things where I feel like he saved my life, so of course I'm gonna be like in love with him and in debt to him. I was like looking at him, I'm like, you're so good looking, like. So anyway, I fell asleep. I woke up, and I'm telling you right now, as much pain as I was in, I felt so much better. They had me on a ton of fentanyl. Dr. Luton still didn't prescribe me anything, so it just gets worse out from here. We go home. I finally did get to sleep. I slept for, I believe, like 4 hours. I woke up in extreme excruciating pain again, but this time it was all over my body. We called Dr. Luton. He said it was because you just had 2 surgeries. He's like, you need to rest. He's like, just take some ibuprofen, you're fine. Dr. Luton believes, and he said it the first time, he's like, the reason that we don't prescribe to recovering addicts is because I feel like I'm the reason that there are a lot of addicts out there. He's like, because back when, he's like, I just gave it to people and then people would call and ask for more and I think that they were in pain. Is there something on my nose? No. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, he blames himself for it. And I'm like, it's really not your fault. But the thing he had to understand is, even though that I'm a recovering addict, like, my pain tolerance is very low because of how much I used to do. Anyway, I woke up. My heart rate was, I believe it went up to like 150 something. When it's at 160, that's considered very dangerous. Well, not very dangerous, but dangerous. It's past hypertension. It's like, it's bad. So my heart was going, it was flying. I called Dr. Luton. He's like, you know what? He's like, you have called a lot. He was getting kind of fed up, and I understand that. He's like, you've called a lot. He's like, the hematoma's drained. He's like, it's very unlikely for you to get another one. The blood was draining decently at this point. For the rest of my life, though, I will have a harder right breast than the left breast. So whenever I do this, you'll notice that this one's a little bit more softer and falls more when this one's a little bit more high up, a little bit more tense, a little bit more jelly. Like, that's fine. They still look even. They still look very nice. It was about 7 or 8 p.m. I was bawling. I was like, I'm in so much pain. I can't do this. I have to go to the hospital. I don't feel like something's right. So we go, and I remember that drive was just as painful. I needed to get there. They took me in front of, I think it was like 20 people. They immediately admitted me. Dr. Luton, though, with plastic surgeons, if you have a plastic surgery and something goes wrong and you go to the hospital, the only doctor who can care for you is the plastic surgeon. So Dr. Luton immediately put me on the pain meds. He's like, fine, we'll do this. They put me on oxygen right when I got there. I couldn't breathe. It was just bad. Like, I don't remember really from the time I got home up until the hospital. I just remember the drive being painful. My heart was racing for some reason. I don't think I was in the right state of mind to even have anxiety at that point because the pain was so bad and I had just been through so much. I was like, my body at least. And I was just like bawling. I was like, help me, please, somebody help me. They injected me with 2 shots of Dilaudid right when I got there, fentanyl and Percocet all together, and I was still in pain. It definitely helped me relax a little bit. So the night went by, I don't remember what much. Nurses would come in and come out of the room. Then the next day came in. Dr. Luton came in. He said he was going to start putting me on Valium. Now, mixing benzodiazepines with methadone is a horrible, scary, just all-around stupid thing to do. He did it, and that's completely okay. I understand, whatever. It definitely helped me sleep. I definitely thank him for that to this day. I ended up taking like 6 altogether in the time that I had them. Well, actually, I do have like 2 or 3 left. I was like, but they did help me sleep, and I'm really grateful for that. I was in the hospital for 2 days, and Dr. Luton, it was the very first time he actually had to visit a hospital because of his patient, and it was over me. He definitely was so cool. He came in, gave me a prescription, he checked on me, he looked at them. The thing was, is he sent me home with bandages. It was basically, what do you call that thing? I just watched Onision's girlfriend talk about them. Binders? It was a binder, and basically it stuck the breasts up to the skin. I forget the reason he did that or why he did that, but here's what they looked like with the wrap on. Extremely bad. Now, I want to show you guys what they looked like afterwards, but I really don't know if I'm comfortable with it. They were basically black and blue, red and yellow from the blood bruising. It was very poor looking, and yeah, that's why usually they don't let you look at the breasts at least 2 weeks after. So I didn't get to shower for, I think it was like 3 or 4 days, and when I did get to shower, you could not get anything wet. I finally had to take the bandages off. I was getting really irritated on the skin down here, and if you guys notice this little mark right here, this is going to be a forever scar. There was a very large blood blister, and then there was one on my tattoo too. Here's a photo of those. But overall, from then on out, the healing process was very long for me. It was very poor. My body healed very differently from others. It took a lot longer to heal because of my lifestyle. You know, I don't exercise much. I don't do much in regards to eating healthy and things like that. And it really was a learning experience because you learn like, oh yeah, you know, I need to start taking care of myself. But it definitely helped me start eating healthier. I was done smoking up until recently. And things truly did get better. Now, here's the part where that was pretty much the story. After that, I went in to get my tubes taken out 2 weeks after the hematoma was removed, which was the day after surgery. October 2nd was my breast aug. October 3rd was the hematoma removal. And then the 14th or 17th or something like that was the day I got the drains removed. What they do is literally they just take the tape off and pull it off. And then they also took the stitches out of my incisions. For some people, doctors, they'll do the incisions under the breast if they're keeping it outside the muscle. Since I was half over, half under, they went through the nipple. Since my skin is extremely pale, you can barely see the scars at all. And one thing I want to thank Dr. Luton for is, I don't know if you guys remember me talking about this a few times, but this right here, this was a huge mole that I've always had since I was a little girl. Dr. Luton removed it for free. It would have cost $3,600 if at some point in life I would have wanted to get that removed. He removed it for free. I myself paid the $40 to go and get it checked out since it was a separate kind of thing. What they do is they send it to a lab and check if it's cancerous. It came back benign, which I'm very grateful for. So there's that. So I wanted to thank him for that. But overall, in the weeks, you know, even though my recovery took a lot longer than anybody else's, it definitely does get better. And so let's talk about some of the things you're going to experience after surgery. Number one, make sure you take your pain pills as prescribed. Like, for example, don't think that you can, in my opinion, I think that no matter what, you should take them until they're out. They only give you like 6. In my case, they gave me 12. I think I had 10s, but they'll give you 5s usually. You take them every 3 hours or as needed. I'm telling you right now, just take them as directed. It really does help when you're not feeling like crap. If I would have woke up and been in a better state of mind regarding pain, I probably would have done this experience again. But literally because of what happened regarding pain-wise and the hematoma, I would never go back and do this again if it was, you know, if I don't know. If I could go back knowing what I know now then, I wouldn't do it again. Some people would do it again for the learning experience. I wouldn't do it again for anything. You couldn't pay me to go back and do it all over. I'm extremely grateful and happy with my results now. To this day, I love them. They are incredibly good looking in my opinion. I'm confident in the mirror when I look in the mirror now, everything like that. But let's talk about some of the things that happen after surgery. Do whatever the doctor tells you. If he tells you to not take a peek at the bandages until they take them off, don't do it. You can mess them up so bad. You don't want to mess them up. One of the big things that women talk about after their breast augs is called boob greed, and I definitely suffered from that. I think that I went way too small, even though I am a 34 to 32 double D right now. I still, for some reason, think I'm too small. It's just a thing that happens. Everybody goes through it. Don't worry, it will go away and you'll end up loving them. I'm not even 2 months out. Like I said, December 2nd will be my 2-month anniversary of getting them done. I'm only a month and a half out. They're still healing. They will be healing for 6 months. Your boobs will go through so many changes. Yeah, 1 week looked weird, 2 weeks was crazy, 3 weeks starting to settle, 4 weeks, now they look back up. Your breasts will go through incredibly crazy changes. And they also call that Frankenboob. Frankenboob is such a crazy thing. It's basically, I still have it a little bit. You can see like your veins, they'll all come to the surface. You can see them a little bit like right here and stuff like that. That will go away. If you would have seen my breasts like 2 weeks before this, it's terrible. It's not attractive. It's not nice, whatever. If for some reason you get blood blisters, that's completely fine. That's from sweat, anything like that. Don't touch them. Don't try to pop them. Your plastic surgeon will ultimately prescribe you cream and things like that. If you're feeling for any reason like you have any type of capsular contracture, please always call your plastic surgeon. Any question that you have, always make sure you call your plastic surgeon. And the number one thing I want to talk about that you will possibly experience, which is interesting because they put it in this book, and I think it's so sweet that the staff put this in their book, is depression. Getting a plastic surgery, propofol itself can cause depression. It's only like an episode of depression, and I wonder if that's what caused mine. You guys know I've recently been talking about how bad it got for about a week or two. Understanding your surgery, your emotions during recovery from cosmetic surgery. I really feel like there's something in my nose. How you will feel from your surgery date. Emotional ups and downs is your phase 1. Phase 2, you're going to be impatient, wanting to recovery to be over. Phase 3, feeling back to normal, showing off your result. And phase 4, happy with the new look, you're confident. I'm really right here in phase 3 and phase 4, a month and a half later. I definitely still have pain. If I touch around here, it's painful. That's where my nipples are. Even though my incisions are healing well, it's still pretty painful here. A lot of women ask how long it takes to sleep on your back after surgery, because you do have to sleep straight up or at a 45-degree angle. I'm going to be completely honest with you right now. That was probably the worst thing ever. Your back is so damn sore. It is terrible. I thought back labor was painful. No, this was the worst. Most surgeons that I've read say 3 days. My surgeon said 2 weeks before I could lay on my back. And even whenever I was allowed to, I laid back, and I remember it was just so uncomfortable. But you ease into it as the days go by, and it only was up until like a week and a half ago that I could start sleeping on my side again. I had, again, tuberous breasts, so that had a lot to do with it. And the third thing I want to recommend to you guys, if you're looking to get a breast augmentation, is breast lift. Since if I could go back and do one thing different in the future, maybe I really will probably get a breast lift someday. Don't worry, my nipples aren't pointing to the ground. They rest about here. I have the teardrop looking breasts now, which I'm really grateful for. They're starting to settle into their natural thing. It's not a medical term, but they call it drop and fluff. That's why it takes 6 months before your boobs fully heal, and that's your results, is because the scar tissue needs to like kind of fluff out. Like your breast tissue itself it's real tight after surgery from swelling. As the months go down, it just kind of like fluffs away and fluffs out and things like that. It's really cool, actually, if you look it up. So also, just basically an augmentation is exactly what you have, only bigger. In my case, since I had tuberous breasts, they're not coned anymore, but they're starting to look natural. Mine definitely are a different shape than what they were, and I know they'll end up changing in the next few months as well. Again, I'm only a month and a half in. That's why I can't show you a today photo of them and say this is what they look like for good, because they don't. They will change, and I'll do an update video then. But yeah, so definitely consider a lift if you're feeling saggy, because if you just throw implants and saggy boobs, it's not going to do anything for you, but make them basically enhanced. So, and the biggest thing I want to talk about is breast implant illness. It happens to a lot of women if you don't take care of them. That's why I chose saline instead of silicone. Is because silicone, if it ruptures, you're not going to know it ruptures. Silicone will mold inside your body. Yes, believe it or not, your body can and will grow mold inside of it. You'll get very ill, autoimmune diseases, very crazy things. Actually, Hugh Hefner's wife talks a lot about breast implant illness. I really suggest looking it up. Technically, there is no implant on the market that is 100% safe. Saline is considered the most safe out there, and that is what I have. They feel a little bit less natural, but ultimately I think my boobs feel pretty good. They're still a little bit hard, especially the right one from the hematoma, but I love them. At first I hated them. I wish I would have never got them. I was so mad at myself. I was so hateful towards everything. I was like, God, why did I do this to my body? Like, why am I so impulsive? Is this going to be like for the rest of my life? But today, I love them. I feel so much more confident. I can wear tank tops now. I used to hate wearing bras like these because of this right here. It was so like fatty and gross. Now it's barely there. Like I can, put my shirt down and I can feel real confident about myself. I look really good in like V-necks. That was my favorite thing to wear when I was younger, but I couldn't. I feel so much better in my boobs now. Like I love them. Best decision in regards to taking an opportunity and running with it. I wish I would have researched a little bit more. I impulsively jumped into it without any research because I was so excited, and I bet this experience just could have been a little bit different if I would have researched. So make sure if you're ever wanting to get a breast augmentation to please look into it. One more thing I want to point out, if you want breast augmentation but can't pay for it, there is something out there called Care Credit. You can apply for it. People use Care Credit to pay for their vet bills, like it basically is a credit card for anything. They also, which I think is kind of cool, pay for like animals too. Like it's not only like you can pay for your teeth, you can pay for any type of surgery you want. It's a credit card for medical stuff, but they also put your pets in there too. So if your pets need a surgery, you can use Care Credit. I did save one thing I wanted to show you guys, and this will forever be the grossest part of my surgery, is after you get the drains and stuff, you need to drain them constantly, every couple hours. So what you have to do is the string that you have to use this, wrap the string around, and then pull the blood clotting out of the drain tubes. And I was just so appalled. I was like, why is this happening, dear Heavenly God? This is petrifying. It was terrible. But I kept this because Victor would always do it. The one thing that happened to me in the hospital that I think was probably the most uncomfortable of everything is not only was I in pain, but the woman left the cap off of the one of my drains, and it was filling up with blood. And when she went to do the other one, to drain the one tipped over on this side with the top off, and all the blood went down my pants. Like, since I was laying up, it all went down everywhere it should not be. So I had to get up, they had to shower. It was just so bad. Just the pain level of this experience is excruciating. There's some women that say that their breast augmentations didn't hurt at all. There is women who say it was the most painful experience of their lives, aka me. It is not a comfortable thing. It's not fun, but overall, the results are so worth it. I wouldn't again go back and do it again, but I love them now. They are the best things in the world. I'm so excited I did it. So I don't know, you guys. I hope this video gave some insight, and I am going to get off of here and edit it, and I guess I'll see you in my next video. I love you guys with all of my person, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back, and today is the day of my surgery, and I plan on documenting all of it. I haven't eaten since midnight last night. It is 5 a.m. now, and I'm so anxious because I just got out of the clinic. It was the only water I was allowed to have. I still have to take my antibiotic, and yeah, but I know I can't be scared because this opportunity rarely comes around in a lifetime, so let's shop for bras. This is the one that I bought last time, and this one, I don't know, these ones come in like large, extra large, while this one's like a 38D. I am a 32C. They said to go one size up just to be safe, so I don't know. I got a large and an extra large of these. Well, this one, these two. I got two of these. And yeah, so I might just get this one to be safe. I don't know. My boobs are gonna be in them and wrapped up. I'm not gonna be able to see them for a while anyway, so I don't know. One of the things that I was told to bring in surgery was a zip up. I don't know if I said that in the last clip, but just something loose. So I got these two zip ups. I'll show you guys at home what everything looks like a room tour and everything like that. Right now I'm looking for little toys to give to the kids to play with while I'm in surgery. My neighbors at the very last minute, we got a hold of them and asked if they would watch the kids so Victor could come with me, and I'm really grateful for that because I love my mom with all my heart, but it's nice to have your husband there too, you know. The kids obviously couldn't come there, man. They would be ripping implants out, throwing them like fuck. So I'm trying to find a cute little toy. Last year I remember being so obsessed with this. Everybody was like, you're not going to be happy with it after so long, and I know that, but still I think it's really cool. I don't know, I love Hatchimals. Like, it reminds me of being a kid and shit, and I really want to get the kids this for Christmas. I know my daughter would be petrified of it, but for $117 I don't think that's happening. Just no. So I walked out of Walmart, and this is the sky. This is the sky over here, and then this is the sky over here, which is the way I'm going, so that's a beautiful sign. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys.
You ready to go to school, Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready to eat Lucky Charms?
I eat Cheetos.
So this is my room for after surgery. I don't know if you guys ever seen my room, but this is my vanity, where I get ready. Makeup, cleanser, brushes for stuff. Beanbag chair, I doubt I'll be sitting on it. Some of your letters I'm going to be reading in a bit just for extra comfort. Kitty, make sure Kitty has food and water, both of them. And then my bed, I'm going to be taking that with me for after. The pillows, hopefully, are supportive. I have a boppy pillow in the car. If you don't know what that is, it's for children or mothers after their childbirth and stuff like that. And then that's a body pillow. That's like for pregnant women, but it was suggested to use extra blanket, fan, which is dirty, air conditioner I doubt I'll need, it's real cold. I'm allowed to have 4 ounces of water, so I'm going to have another sip and then give it up. So, and then I'm going to be curling my hair before I go in so I don't look like too much of a rat. But yeah, closet. And that's it. In case anybody was wondering what body wash I used for antibacterial, It is, they sell this stuff at Walmart. It's called Hibiclens, and it's an antiseptic skin cleanser. It's for people who are going into surgery and things like that. So it is full of alcohol and it burns the skin. But I mean, gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Alright, this is it. This is what I'm wearing. Did my hair to go get surgery. I look like a rat. Calvin Klein pants, real cheap at Ross. Can't wear anything underneath, so hopefully when I'm out, looks a little bit better. Let's go. And we are on our way, and Victor's in the back. And I'm really grateful for our neighbors watching my daughter, my son's in school, while we go get this done. So I took my cap off. That's why my tooth looks like that, in case you're wondering. Do you know getting surgery? Breast surgery? Oh. Alright, so they have this book I'm gonna read until got my bracelets on. Victor, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful office. Hand carved chairs, nice velvet couch.
I'm not beautiful.
TV. There's the holding room. I guess they're doing a breast augmentation before me, so I just took my urine sample, so that's good. Look how pale I am. I haven't eaten anything, drank anything. My pee's really yellow. I'm on 300 milligrams. Excuse me, of clindamycin. I took 600 milligrams in the past, like, 10 hours, so this better work.